What is going on, bros and hoes? Good to see you guys. I got to get better lighting. This lighting is just not good. We got to figure out this lighting here, guys, because, we'll work on it. We'll get there. So nonetheless, I want to jump on, do a live stream for you guys. I love doing these things. I just have been literally balls to the walls getting ready for what's coming. And if you don't know what's coming, you've got to look at everything in the macro, which basically means like 30,000 feet. Zoom out and look at what's going on and be like, okay, we have people in our nation that are sitting home. They're like, they're sequestered, if you will, however you pronounce that word. And we're paying them to sit at home, and we're not producing goods and services, and we're adding on debt load at the end of a debt cycle. So what's going to happen from here? And the answer, 1929. That's what's going to happen. You guys are going to actually live through, me included, hopefully, a depression. And a depression just means that we're going to go through a period in our nation where we're going to have less than suboptimal growth. It's not the end of the world. It just kind of sucks because we're not really fulfilling our true potential. And that kind of sucks. And it's going to last probably 10 to 15, historically 25 years. And so this is the moment where you need to start looking at what the hell is going on, and you need to start understanding what to do. And so I like to jump on to these type of things. We already have 13 people in the room, which is amazing. I fucking love that. 90 seconds on, 14 people, 15 people. Love this. So if you've got questions, put them in the box. I've got a little bit of an agenda. I'm going to kind of slam through it. And it kind of comes from like the questions I get in email and things like that. I do a lot of coaching. If you guys were interested in that, I'll link that and I'll put it in the description later on. But the questions I'm getting from guys, and guys are like, hey, so what do you think about my businesses? Number one, most of my audience is in the landscape contractor space, and anything stay at home is going to crush, right? Like, because if you look at things from a macro view, from a high up view, you're like, are people going back to the office? Let's say, right? Most of my audience doesn't really go to an office every day. You have an office. Your office might look like mine, and like my desk is messy right now. You guys can't see it. I've got like mags all over my desk. I got to load these, like just things like that. Like it's just, kind of crazy. But like most of corporate America is never going back to the office. So what happens to commercial real estate? What does that look like, right? But more importantly, what happens to residential real estate? This is like a great migration. Like we've never had as much migration in this country as we have right now. And so a lot of people are like moving out of states like California or New York or Michigan or New Jersey, and they're heading for places like Texas or Arizona or Florida or anywhere where there's no income taxes, or Tennessee, or any of these type of things. So it's changing things, right? Like a real estate market in one area is kind of like going down. Like there's more homes for sale than there are buyers. And then in other areas like Florida, where I'm broadcasting from tonight, there's like the homes that are hitting the market are like, they're gone in 7 days. Like we sell real estate. My wife sells real estate. My whole family sells real estate. My parents have a brokerage. Like you can literally walk someone through a house, and then like 7 days later, like it's gone. Like Sarah took someone out like yesterday. They found a place. Okay, great. Yep, we're going to put an offer in. And the realtor's like, yeah, I just got 4 offers like today. So make it your best offer. So these type of things are happening. And it's important that you look at this and go, okay, how do I best benefit from what's going on? Because the period that we're walking into is going to be a period where governments are insolvent around the entire world. And so their solution to being insolvent is going to be to print more fake currency, not money, because money can't be printed. This is money. This is real stuff. This is like gold, silver, that type of stuff. I would even put cryptos in there. That's real money. Fake paper stuff that they're just printing out of thin air, it's fake. It is what it is. Like it's totally fake. And so where we're at in the debt cycle is they've got to print more and more and more to try to keep civil unrest chill, because what has occurred in our nation over the last 50 years since we got off the gold standard, 1971, but heavily in the last 10 years, and certainly in the last 20 years. So what has occurred is the elites in our society have become more and more prevalent. They've printed more and more fake paper. Those that are close to those elites and the fake paper have benefited greatly. I mean, disproportionately, so much so. And then those that have not that advantage, those that actually have to go out and work, and then they earn a dollar, and then they have to pay their bills, and then that dollar's losing value, and then they can never get ahead in life. There's this disconnect. There's this discord that's happening in our society. And I'm broadcasting from North America, because I know this is happening all over the world. But in North America, we have this discord. Typically, what we do in North America every 81 years, take 2021 and go back 81 years, and you'll find yourself in 1940. Tell me what happened. Take 1940 and go back 81 years. Tell me what happens. You'll find a guy named Abraham Lincoln. Go back from there 81 years, and you'll find a bunch of boys called the Founding Fathers. Every 81 years, or 4 generations, or the fourth turning, we typically throw down in this country. That's typically what happens. And so what's happening as the day that I'm broadcasting this, inauguration day, where we've inaugurated maybe a president, maybe not, maybe they're probably not, right? Like, they probably stole the election. I can't really say that on YouTube because I don't want to get, kicked off of YouTube. And by the way, if you guys are watching this, like the replay of this, you should sign up for my email list. Trav.com. You should hit me up and be like, I want to be on the email list. There'll be a link if you're watching this like replay, and you should get on the email list, because at some point in time, I'm gonna be probably banned from YouTube because I'm American. Like I'm old school American. All right, like I'm a real deal American. So at some point in time, YouTube and their liberal asshole leftists are probably going to be like, yeah, we got to get rid of this guy. Like, they kicked Ron Paul off of Facebook. People are like, Trav, why did you get off of Instagram? Because Zuckerberg owns Instagram, and I'm not going to play on that game. And then a couple days after I get off of it, Ron Paul is deleted from Facebook. So there's an agenda. And what you guys need to understand is that this agenda isn't going to wrap up in 2021. This agenda is going to roll through the fourth turning, probably 2025 to 2030, and it could go a little further than that. But ultimately, you guys have to be looking at this and going like, okay, what's going to happen? Inflation is going to happen probably after deflation. That's my hypothesis. Is like, we'll have this deflationary period. It's really bad for debtors, and then the biggest debtor in the world is the U.S. government. The U.S. government is completely insolvent. They have nothing to their name. I mean, they could sell some national parks. They could sell the Capitol building. They could sell the White House. I mean, there's a couple things they could sell. The aircraft carriers are pretty much dated. I mean, fighter jets are cool, but that's kind of like so 80s. Like, we don't fight wars with fighter jets at this point in time. Like, so basically, the U.S. has no assets. And they've got $30 trillion in debt that's on the balance sheet. But in reality, we've got $150 trillion in debt that's coming due by 2030. So total, if we found Jesus overnight, and we were just like, okay, so we've got religion now, we're going to be on a balanced budget like every household in America should be, our total national debt by 2030 would be $180 trillion. And you're like, how's that even possible? Well, it's possible because the Federal Reserve just prints the money out of thin air, steals it from you, and then redistributes it to these political elites, and then they redistribute it to their friends. So what's going to happen? I would give it a 60-40, and only 40%, because I feel like most of America is fat, lazy, indebted, Netflixing and chilling. Like, 60-40. Any other point in time, I'd give it a 100% chance, but I'd say with 60-40, you're probably going to see a civil war or something that looks like it. And I would say that historians that look back on this period in time will probably say that might have occurred on January 6th, like the start of this event, or it might have started January 20th of 2017 when Trump was elected. Because it's kind of like a behind-the-scenes civil war that's occurring at this point in time. And it may go kinetic, and that means full contact. It's possible it could go kinetic. I don't know. Mostly I feel like Americans are going to sit there behind their gaming computers and be like, I don't care that milk is $35 a gallon. I do whatever. They're sending me universal basic income. I kind of feel like that's more likely that they're just going to sit there and it's going to be like one of these like one of these movies like Idiocracy or something like that. Like, oh, why are the plants dying? Because we put Gatorade on it. Oh no, it's good for plants. I kind of feel like America has already been dumbed down to that point. But then I see certain people in America that built America and are like, yeah, we're not good with this. We're not good with this. And we're getting silenced and we're getting kicked off of Twitter and we're getting kicked off Facebook and we're getting kicked off of YouTube and we're getting kicked off in Parler. I mean, they just shut that thing down. $1 billion enterprise, they just shut it down. And so I would say that the solution to this is decentralized everything, which I believe is the internet of our time. And you guys might have heard the blockchain, that's decentralized. So I believe the internet of our time, of our generation is like, that's the opportunity. Like it's kind of like electricity in the early 1900s. You add electricity to like anything, like vacuum cleaner, boom, washing machines, boom, lights, boom. And then like the fullness of the electrical, innovation ends up being like communication and computers and video and all that stuff that comes with it. And then the internet comes along and that's social media and that's like buying stuff online and that's killing all the small businesses. And like, by the way, think about how fragile American society is. Amazon goes down, this country starves. Think about it. Like, the power grid goes down, this country is blacked out. Think about it. Like, there's no food in this country if the power grid goes down in 7 days. Like, that's it. Like, power grid drops, there's no food. Think about it. Pick up some of these because these are getting banned. Guys got Harris and Biden in the White House. Like, they're getting banned. You guys might want to get your stuff. But nonetheless, at any other point in history, whenever we've had one of these events, people, for the most part, have been independent. Unfortunately, at this point in time, people are not independent. People are completely dependent on the system. And the idea of this fourth turning is to make those people that are already dependent more dependent on the system so that our elites, who know better than you, can do whatever they want, and you slaves can go on being slaves. Unfortunately, there's a few bros in this country, kind of like your boy, who might have something to say about that. Unfortunately for you, you need to figure out what happens if a couple guys like me say, yeah, we're done with this shit. If a couple guys like me say, yo, let's pop off. Let's make this happen. Let's go. Like the rifle is to the American male as the samurai is the sword is the samurai. Kind of blotched that a little bit. But you get the point. Most American males are kind of just fat and they don't have a rifle. And so, no big deal. And guys like me can look at the situation and go, I mean, I can fly out of here privately at any point in time, go down to a place like Colombia, get myself like 10 times as much land as I already have, garden, do my thing, have a good time, get a big ass boat, buy a couple nice planes. I don't have to deal with this shit. Like, I can balance. But ultimately, America is becoming a third world country. And at the moment, today, January 20th of 2021, the stock market has hit an all-time high. If you go through any company, just pick a random company and look at their balance sheet, you'll find out the company's completely insolvent. The net asset values of almost every company on the Dow or the S&P is effectively zero or negative. But yet it's at an all-time high. And so it's sucking in all of the baby boomers, the biggest generation. I'm a millennial. So there's Generation X, and then there's the baby boomers above that. My parents are baby boomers. And so it's sucking in. These capital markets are sucking in all the capital of the largest generation the world has ever seen. And what's going to occur in the next it could happen any moment. But in the next 1 day to 3 years, certainly before Biden is out of the White House, or Harris, because let's be real, Biden's a puppet. So is Harris. But she's a puppet for the left and the extreme left, those that want to change America from everything that it was. Let me remind you what America was. It was a bunch of ragtag boys with muskets that they reloaded by hand and literally killed off the most powerful government the world had ever seen. That's what America is. America is a bunch of men that walked with no shoes in the snow, across the Delaware on Christmas, while the generals were sitting there sipping their wine and having a good time, mistresses and children, and they murdered everybody in the fucking mansion. That's what America is about. America is a rebellious, badass, don't fuck with us nation. Unfortunately, we're at a spot in history we have to kind of figure out, do we want to do it again? And we've done it every 81 years. Two turnings ago, we did it against ourselves. That was shitty. It took until the 1970s, they say, many economists would say, for the South to recover from what happened in the 1860s. It took basically 100 years, an entire fourth turning, for them to even get to recover economically. It's not a good option. And so we sit here at this point in history where many of the elites want to go to this global model where the globe, global warming, global currency, global is controlled by the elites, and America just kind of falls off. And yet there's a couple guys like me that live in this nation and go, I really like my rights. I really like being able to, one, speak freely, two, a right to bear arms that shall not be infringed. Let me explain to you what a right to bear arms that shall not be infringed means. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to run out and pick up every Russian assault rifle that I can possibly find the day before Biden gets inaugurated. It doesn't mean like that. What it means is if I want to buy an aircraft carrier, it's tax-free, no permits, and I don't need to check on with anybody. That's what no infringement means. It means if I want to buy a bunch of like fighter jets, it means there's no taxes. Not like I need to like go through a background check. It means like there's no taxes. There's no permit. There's no nothing. That's what shall not be infringed means. At this point in time, we're like, oh, well, can it be semi-auto? Is this 21 inches? Well, if it's 12 inches, it's pistol, so it's not okay. Oh, well, if it's more than 30-round magazine, well, I don't know if that's okay. And like all that type of stuff. It's like, no. Let me explain to you what shall not be infringed means. Shall not be infringed means there's no taxes, baby girl. Number one, President Harris, remember, there's no taxes. It means I'm not recording it in a database. It means I just own it. It means like everybody owns it. It means that society is pretty freaking free. And it means that all other government thugs around the world are kind of looking at America going, yeah, I don't really want to mess with them because they're crazy. They got a lot of, they're stacked. I mean, why would you mess with America? And for the most part, that's worked. And so at this point in time, we sit at this crosshairs of American history where we're pushing ourselves so far to the progressive left that we are arguing as to, are there 50 genders in America? Are there 49 genders in America? Or are there 63? When I was a kid, there was 2, and maybe I'm okay with 4 or 5. I mean, I might negotiate, but I can't meet you that far. And so we're at this spot where there's this divide. And you guys watching need to understand that this divide is going to rip and pull. And as it rips and pulls, it's going to be turbulent. When we get to like 2030, 2035, we're going to be on a track. We're going to be good. We're going to be moving forward. We're going to be moving into what they call the singularity, where technology is baller, right? Like where Tesla trucks come by, they pick you up, they charge on solar panels. There's no pollution, right? There's a crazy abundance. It's going to be gnarly. But to that point, like to get there, we're going to go through food shortages, price and supply controls, like government getting all up in our business, Facebook and big tech, like regulating, like, can they be on my phone or not? Like we're like, can they tap my microphone? Can they get my camera? Like we're going through this whole thing. Can they vaccinate me without against my will? Can they microchip? Like, are we property of the state or is the state property of ours? The way the U.S. Constitution is set up is the state is property of ours. Let me explain to you what that means. That means that President Harris works for us. And the moment that she forgets that, and I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, but the real Americans are literally contemplating, is it time to remind them? And that's why the Second Amendment matters. Now, they've limited, can you have autos and this? If I want an aircraft carrier, it's tax-free, no permits. And I don't know if I want an aircraft carrier. I might want 12. I might want a few subs. I might want as much as I can crowdfund to get, because fuck it, because it's America, and that's what keeps America in check. But we're at the spot where, can you ban a 30-round mag and make it a 10-round mag or a 5-round mag? Or can you even have semi-autos? They have to be bolt action. That's okay. I got bolt actions that'll reach out 1,000 yards. It's all good. Whatever. And they're completely silent. You won't hear them coming. But we're at that spot where individuals in America have to make this move. What you guys need to know is, what does that look like? Look at it from 30,000 feet. What does that look like? It looks like food supply needs to be on you. You need to start figuring that out. It looks like water and power needs to be on you. Every fourth turning prior to this, everybody had their food supply handled. They had their water and power handled. They did. Even if it was candles or fireplace or whatever it was, they had it handled. Now, none of you got this handled. And the money is completely fake. And that's why I support, like, you need to start getting out of the system. You need to start stacking like actual silver. You need to start stacking gold. You need to start stacking cryptos. You need to start locking those away. You need to be out of the system, because the way that they're going to try to bring on what they're bringing on is they're just going to print shit out of thin air. And they're going to be like, hey, take it. Oh, we'll give you some digital currency. Oh, I'm sorry. We put you on lockdown and your small business failed. And I guess it is what it is, but we'll put you on some universal basic income and we'll print this money. What do you think happens to the currency when that occurs? Well, one, it creates a voting class that's always dependent on the political elite. I don't need politicians. I know, I have a degree in economics and finance. Like, I know that societies that have less government or no government grow at a faster rate and have less poverty, violence, crime, etc., than those with larger governments. That's a statistical fact. It's kind of like mask mandates, because you guys are all sheeping up wearing your masks and whatnot. And it's like, is there any science or statistics or anything that you can find? And you can link to the bottom of this video, especially if you're watching it later, that masks work. I mean, masks don't work in fires. Like, you can't wear like your canister mask. Like, if it's not a gas mask, like, you can't like light your house on fire and like wear your mask and be okay. And like a smoke particle is a lot bigger than like a coronavirus particle or whatever. I can't say that. I say the cerveza sickness or whatever on YouTube. But nonetheless, we're at this spot where these type of rights that were traditionally kind of givens, right? They were God-given rights. They were what they call natural rights. The right to property, for one. The U.S. government and other governments around the world that are all working together are creating this one world kind of order looking thing. And the one thing that could fuck that up is the American male and his rifle. Like, that's the one thing that could fuck that shit up. And if you look at the World Economic Forum, or you look at guys like George Soros, they all talk about this. It's like the one thing that, because it's not going to be like the British guys. Like, what are they going to do, right? What's the EU going to do? What's South America going to do? What's Canada going to do? Canada has 75,000 Chinese troops sitting inside of their country right now as we speak. What are they going to do? But heaven forbid a few of these American males say, fuck this, it's game time. And if they do that, your local grocery store is not going to have your Kellogg's cereal. Just start thinking about that. Your power grid may come on and off or off. Your water supply may just dry up. Because a war is literally a fucking war. Now, I don't want it to come to that, right? And that's why I want you guys, if you guys are watching later, jump on my email list, because at some point I'm getting kicked off this shit. Because I speak my mind. I just say what the fuck I want. I have First Amendment. And then when the First Amendment doesn't work, I have a Second Amendment. This guy's brand new. I've never shot a round through it. Really want to. It got a little longer barrel. I like the Russian stuff because it's like, if you've got a Humvee or whatever, it's like, I'm not running like AR. Like, you guys are running AR. It's like insane. Like, there's so many ARs that'll be available in that Humvee. You just got to get through it. You know what I'm saying? So this guy punched a hole through it. So nonetheless, it's like, I want as many of these for every member of my family as I can possibly have. But I'm also in a position where I have a ton of liquid cash. I got cryptos. I got silver. I got gold. I got land. I got profit. I've got passive income. I've got stocks and bonds. Like, I don't have to be here. I can bounce. And it sounds dickish, but like, I don't have to be here. Like, I can go anywhere that's economically free and create value for other people, and not have to deal with higher taxes and all that other crap that's inevitably going to come when the stock market is no longer at its all-time high, when the stock market might be at a pretty damn low. And the baby boomer generation realizes everything they had, every pension they put into, every Roth IRA, every IRA, any of that type of stuff that they poured into is worthless. And then the paper that they print is worthless. And so what you guys need to understand is that on the backside of this event, I believe life is going to be absolutely incredible. But getting through this event is going to be something that you and I have not seen because it is a fourth turning, and those that saw it are literally dead or dying. That's the whole point of a fourth turning. I'll link to that book as well. Fourth Turning by Neil Strauss. Amazing book. But nonetheless, I'm going to grab to some questions here, and then I'm sure there'll be some well, let's just roll through the questions here. So, are you wrong? Just high taxes as New York and being flooded in New York. So here's the deal. It's like, think about this with taxes. Inflation occurs. Let's just say that inflation occurs. I'm a deflationist. I think there's going to be deflation, then there'll be inflation. But no doubt, like this literally says $1 on it, one silver dollar. A dollar, by the way, is a ounce of silver. That's the word dollar. You guys know it as that piece of paper that rips. I bought these things for $30 this week. I bought 12 of them this week so far. They're $30. On it, it says $1. What happened? Somebody printed them. But you know what happened today is you had people that were elected, or, whatever you want to call it, inaugurated, that want to do this Green New Deal. I'm all about it. I'm super about it. Like, you guys have no idea how hippie I am. Like, I ran a truck on vegetable oil for like all of college. Like, I paid no money. I had a girlfriend that lived 400 miles away, went there every weekend. It's crazy. Paid no money and fuel because I'm super hippie like that. I get renewable energies. I spent my first nest egg when I sold my first company on renewable energy. I get the game. Like, I'm all about it. However, silver today, which is the most it's the thing you need for solar panels. It's the thing you need if things go bad. It's what you always need. It's what Jesus was portrayed for. Silver didn't move. It was zero penny change. Not a single penny changed on the silver price. It's never happened like that. I've never seen it like that. And I was looking at it this afternoon, and then I was looking at the close of the market, and I was just like, the silver price didn't move. It didn't move today. And that's whack. The only other time I've seen that happen was when the gold price only moved 26 cents after they stormed the Capitol building on the 6th. And I was like, So the other thing that happened is XRP, which is a cryptocurrency, which you guys might know is like Ripple. They're under investigation by the SEC, and all these exchanges canceled them. And they canceled them because XRP basically makes it so you can't manipulate commodity prices. You can do foreign exchange transactions like lightning speed. And so anyway, today, they're no longer trading on exchanges. They're not illegal at this point in time, but they're under SEC investigation. Mind you, not a single banker, I call them banksters, not a single one from 2008, not a single one has been indicted or fined. Not a single one. These guys wrecked the worldwide economy in 2008. Not a single one of them has gone to jail. But XRP, new technology, and boom, they're gone. Silver price moves zero. Which is funny because I went to the local silver store yesterday just because that's what I do every week. And this is all I could find. And I was like, guys, seriously? And they're like, Trav, I know it's just we're thin. And I was like, I was here 2 weeks ago and you guys were stacked. You guys were like, there's so much silver in the store. And dude, it's gone. It's because all the smart money, all smart money in my town is buying that shit up because it's silver's going to 10x over this next 2-3 years. It has to. And it's outside of the system. So it's a private currency. It's something that we can interact with. It's something that's needed for solar panels. It's something that is a hedge against inflation. It's a hedge against wars. It's just everybody should have it. It's $30 to get in your pocket. Everybody should own some. So nonetheless, that's what happened. Silver price moved zero. XRP was delisted from many crypto exchanges. And you're like, so what's going on? And you guys know what's going on. So let's rock on through here. China took over America. Freedom is dead. First and second DOA. Yeah, if you agree with that. I mean, I hate to be dickish, but I have enough wealth to get the fuck out of here. I don't have to stay for this event, But I do very much feel it's it's probably time to take back our country. Like, probably is. I can't say that like totally on YouTube, but like, I agree with you, Brian. Like, it's time to take it back. Most of the American military will probably agree with that. But if they don't, and in another generation, if they can drag this on, then I would say they'll be completely, okay with the agenda. And then, yeah, it's done and it's dead and it's sold off. Ryan the Entrepreneur, fire. Thank you, bro. Trav, Chuck Norris. I freaking love Chuck Norris. I actually had a Sunday school teacher who literally was pretty much the real deal Chuck Norris. His name was Rick Weirks. Guy's badass. I freaking love that guy. Wearing a mask, you can smell someone's perfume or cologne through the mask. Yeah, exactly, Justin. Yeah, exactly. Masks are about compliance. Rand Paul said that earlier this month. Masks are about compliance. They're about making you submit to your authority. Dude, this is America. There's not much authority. You're supposed to be the authority. Everybody in this country that's a government employee is supposed to work on behalf of you. Now, I'm a libertarian anarchist. I don't believe that the way that we should organize is inside of a government structure. But most Americans feel good with a government structure because they're like, oh, what about the police department? What about the fire department? And there's an answer to every one of those questions, and all of them are pretty much peaceful. And you're like, well, what happens if a bunch of gangs get together and then they just start popping off and there's no government to stop them? And I'm like, who's the biggest gang in the world? You have a gang that you fund to prevent the other gangs from beating you up, right? Like, you're like, oh, we have the U.S. government because we don't want the Russian government or the Chinese government or, the Venezuelan government or the North Korean government to come after us. And it's like, if you had a nation that was fully run by like an anarchical libertarian system where like everybody did them and like money was real, first of all of the smart money and all of the like brain power of the world would be rushing to get there. So you would have a complete monopoly on like everything intellectual capital. And then secondly, nobody would come and mess with you. This is why Switzerland hasn't been invaded in like 300 years. Even Hitler couldn't do it because it's like no one's going to mess with them because they have a completely decentralized military where it's like they don't have a standing military. Like, you never see them policing the world. But like, I'll tell you, you roll there and like you'll find like those guys have helicopters in their barns. Like, those guys are like, they're trained. No one messes with them. So instead, you bring all your silver and gold to them, and they're crypto friendly, obviously. And they have a very strict, they got like 12 different districts and they're very strict, it's like, it's not one of those places that you get drunk and get rowdy at 3 a.m., but like for the most part, you can do whatever you want and like people don't mess with you over there. But they just handle the world's banking and no one invades them because everyone knows you can't touch them. Like they're untouchable. And so, I favor like free people and free markets and allowing capital and everything that is capital. I believe that capital can be broken down into 5, maybe 6 things. That would be like social capital, credit capital, physical capital, liquid capital, credit capital, spiritual capital. I feel like that all those things tie together. But nonetheless, it will flee to where it is treated best. And I think that that's super, super important. Moving forward, question: if gold is suppressed and true value is 12K, because I said that earlier, so good question there, Motown. Gold will skyrocket past this when the financial reset happens. And yes, there is going to be a financial reset, and you guys ought to think of it like a gift. Gold is trading for like $18.50 right now. If you pick it up and get it in your hand, it's going to be like $2,000 maybe. Yeah, it's a freaking gift. Right? It's a gift. Now, remember, gold doesn't make babies. Okay, it just is a rock that continually sits as a rock. And as they print more, it goes up or down relative to how much they print. How much they print is irrelevant to how much it weighs. Okay, if you go through Proverbs 20, you'll find that the Lord detests unequal scales or changing scales. I can actually pop it up for you guys. I recommend that too. If you guys want to roll through something, even if you're not religious, you can be an anarch or you can be an atheist or whatever. And like, it would be wise, I think, to like read from like the richest dude that ever lived, the guy that had the most wives and women that you could possibly have and like own the entire world. And then he wrote a book called Proverbs, and his name was Solomon, and his dad was a badass. Like, his dad was David, like David and Goliath. His dad was a badass. But if you go through that type of stuff, like it can't hurt. And if you notice, like, there's 31 Proverbs. and you can literally read one a day. It takes like 30 seconds, maybe like 2 minutes if you meditate on that, and you can roll through it. And basically the Lord detests unbalanced scales or differing weights. And the dollar, the US dollar, is literally an abstraction. It's not even worth looking at. How many ounces do you own? How many coins or satoshis or units of crypto do you own? What is your means of production outside of the US dollar system? I'm not saying that the US dollar system is going to fail tomorrow, but I am saying that it will fail before you reach retirement, probably earlier than that. I would probably say it'll fail before the next 10 years. And at that point in time, like, they'll put people on a digital dollar. There'll be like a Fed coin, which you guys are going to see, and you guys need to watch for this. Janet Yellen, the ex-Federal Reserve president, is going to come in as the Secretary of the Treasury. The Treasury is government, U.S. government. The Federal Reserve is a bunch of super elite bankers that are quasi-public, so they're private. They're private bankers that run the real deal. If you want to really dive into it, it's called the Lords of Finance, or The Creature from Jekyll Island. You guys can go check out those books, and your mind will be blown. But basically, understand this: the Federal Reserve is running the game. The International Monetary Fund is running the game above that. The U.S. government is under here. The U.S. government's like, we're paying all of our government workers, and the Federal Reserve is going to monetize the debt. And that's how it works. If you were like the head of the Federal Reserve and you said, yeah, we're not going to buy your bonds anymore, we're not going to finance your debt, the U.S. government would have to find religion real quick, because they'd be like, they wouldn't make payroll on Friday. That's how broke the U.S. government is. So what's going to happen is the Federal Reserve is backstopping the U.S. government, but who backstops the Federal Reserve? That's the IMF. The IMF, if IMF is worldwide money, it's SDRs, it's special drawing rights. It's a whole nother video. It's probably something I should sit down and edit and work through, that type of deal. But nonetheless, it's currency reset that that Motown was getting to. Is that's the financial reset. That's what they're talking about. The IMF probably won't happen. But that's what they want to happen. So nonetheless, how will the fourth turning pan out this time, in your opinion? I think it's going to be a civil war, honestly. I think it's going to be a civil war. I think it'll take a while. I think it'll probably start with a financial collapse. The baby boomers will have nothing. They're going to get wiped out. We're going to go more Italy style, which I'm not against. You're going to get grandkids and children and then parents together in households. I think it's going to be an opportunity for you guys that are handy. Look at these 4,000 square foot houses, 2 air conditioner units type of things. What do you do with a 4,000? These baby boomers, they built these things in the 80s, Gordon Gekko bullshit. And it's do you want a 5,000 square foot house? I don't. Fuck that. Right. So what happens to these things? Well, basically they turn 70, they trip and fall, they get a hip, they got to go to the nursing home. The thing's $4 or $5 grand a month. Stock market crashes. Oh, they had 2 million or 3 million in wealth. Gone. Their house is needs a kitchen and needs some drywall and it needs new counters and it's not worth $1 million. They think it's not worth 1.5. It's worth 400. And if you can get a mortgage, the millennials are saddled with this student loan debt. They can't buy it. There's more baby boomers than there are millennials. So there's this many mansions for sale, and there's this many millennials that don't want them like me. And then there's a couple millennials over here that are Lambo guys, and they're I want one of those. And then they look at the work and they're So basically, there's no buyers for these things. You guys that are into investing, I think that those will become the rental properties of the future. So I'd be interested in that. But ultimately, I think that we move into this universal basic income. We try to dumb down society. We try to get these, we try to chill everybody's testosterone levels. We try to take we create new terrorism acts. We take guys like me out of society, or we force me offshore or force me into suppression where you're hey, just do your farm thing and handle you and just, drive your cars and do your thing and just be happy, but don't make any opinions in the world. Don't make any waves. And that may or may not work because ultimately I think that America has a violent past. America's a violent place. I mean, the people in this country are baited up. Like, there's some beta males in this country, dude. Like, the women are running this place, and that sucks for them, and it sucks for the dudes, because every chick in this place, like, they just want to be put up against a wall. Like, I mean, that's what they're not telling you. You know, it's just like, yo, they do. It's just, you know, like, they're just sick of like this Me Too. Like, they promote this Me Too thing, but like, they're bored of you. Like, they're bored of these beta males. And ultimately, I don't think that they've fully killed off enough beta males or sequestered them enough to like prevent an actual what's probably going to happen. So ultimately, what I think is going to happen, just be direct, I think a civil war is going to happen, straight up. And I think it's going to be actually like, so we're going to get rid of like the bearded Starbucks barista guy like real fucking quick. Like, you and your liberal arts degree are going to go to the wayside real fucking quick when the power goes out, because like 4 days later your refrigerator's empty. And then it's not going to really be the kinetic war between the two different sides that are pulling. It's going to be the fact that like your electricity's out, your water's out, unless you're like out of the system. Like, I'm out of the system, so I don't give a shit. But like, you need to get the fuck out of the system. That's what I'm saying. So I want to move to Florida because I don't want to give them. Dude, think about selling your business, Joker. Is like, businesses have money. I talked with a lot of guys on my coaching call this week. I've been slammed. Dude, businesses are valuable. People buy them. I've sold 5. I've sold 5 and I've bankrupted 1. So just think about that, because that's, you know, it's something to consider, that you can sell these things out. One message is held for review. Oh shit. Let's show it. Let's hit the show button. If shit hits the fan, you live in Florida, you're fucked. I think it's what it says. If shit hits the fan and you live in Florida, you're fucked. Common sense philosophy. Actually, I'd say we're probably gonna be the state in the union. That's why I'm still here. Texas always talks big game, but like, let's be real. We're surrounded by water on 3 sides. We can cut off the border if we had to. We could literally we could secede from the union and probably increase our gross domestic product. We'd actually probably have a higher standard of living if we were to break off from the U.S. We wouldn't have income taxes, or we'd have a flat tax. We wouldn't have a fake U.S. dollar. We have plenty of sunshine, so we have unlimited power generating ability. We have a water table that's very low. We have really great water aquifers. We can do trade on both sides, ocean-wise. We've got South America underneath us. I think, yeah, Florida would actually be the spot. Maybe Texas. Tennessee's a little bit in the middle, in the hill town. I mean, I'm not down. I'm okay with Tennessee. Obviously, New York is a get the fuck out card. You know, you got to get out of New York if you're in New York. You got to get out of California if you're there. Bro, miss your daily voice. I appreciate that. What he's referring to is like Instagram. I did Instagram a lot. I'll be doing a daily thing. But like, literally today, my day was like, I gardened. Like, I literally get in my garden. Like, my garden game is getting strong. I picked up new Russian hardware because I like Russian hardware, because it's the first thing they ban. And you know why they ban it? Because they couldn't beat it in Nam. They couldn't beat it in Iraq. And this crap literally held the German Nazis. Women ran this stuff. 762 by 54. They ran this in the Battle of Stalingrad for a year. For a year, they held the Nazis, and the Nazis lost. So yeah, I had to pick up some Russian hardware, because you know it's going away. You know, Biden's got to get rid of that, because it's the only stuff that can't be conquered. I mean, I know some of you guys are out there like, oh, I love my AR-15. Yeah, I love 22. They're not 22s. They're 22 3s. Whatever. You get hit by well, I don't want to get hit by either one of them, but like, I'm just saying, the AK-47 is blowing through a Tahoe. I don't care how much bulletproof crap is on that Tahoe. It's blowing through the Tahoe. So I'm about it. Oh, it's not good past 350 yards. Whatever, dude. I'm not trying to engage anyone. If I got to go further than that, I already got bolt actions for that. And if I got to get closer than that, I definitely want the AK. I don't want to be an AR 50 yards. Are you kidding me? Give me the AK, man. AK, and let's pop it. So, nonetheless, man. So, jump on that email list. I'll link to that stuff. It's Trav at Onsite Trav. You can send me an email. I'll put you on the list. I'd love to interact with you. If you want to do coaching, I would love to do that. I've got a coaching link. It's Trav at Onsite Trav /Trav. I've literally, that's what I've been doing with like a lot of my whole week pretty much, besides like working, getting my own stuff right. And I'll hit these last questions and we'll wrap it because the video is getting a little long. Could sell for about 100K, but I guess you could buy a business in Florida. What would you suggest? I like building a business. Joker, we'd have to jump on. See, that's a personal question. We'd have to kind of figure out where you are and what your balance sheet looks like and like what might be best for you. And if you're a young guy and you don't have family and stuff like that, there's a lot of places that are already done with this. They're already done with socialism and private experiments and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of places that are. Colombia, for example, they're done. Like their civil unrest is over. They're done with this. And so there are places where you might go and be like, hey, my 10 grand or my 50 grand or my 100 grand from selling my business or 300 grand goes really far. And like, you don't have to chill for this. I mean, imagine like when inflation occurs in this country, tax rates will stay the same or increase. So, you might have been making 50 grand, but now you're making 100 grand. Well, now you're in the $100,000 tax rate. But you have the same spending power that you had before because everything else is inflated, but your taxes have inflated. It's a suck in for the political elites. They're going to suck in the resources for themselves. Mind you, they don't create any resources. These political elites create nothing but trouble, and we don't need them. I mean, I don't know if, this might be my last YouTube video. I don't know, but like, we don't need them. We need to get rid of them. They create poverty. They create inequality. They create class warfare. They create an underling class that can never get out. It's basically called a caste system. We need to get rid of them. We need to get rid of the fake currency. We need to get rid of these elites, period. Unfortunately, it'll probably take a war to do that, and they're not going to win, and that's why they've got the Capitol all racked up, and they got 25,000 National Guards up there. Like, they know they're not going to win. Like the American male and his rifle in the last 300 years have never truly lost unless it's been a half-ass war with this whole like, oh, you can't engage over in Iraq because we're fighting for George Bush's family and it's about oil and it's like, hey, there's Hitler there. He's got Nazis. They're freaking running the place. We need to fucking kill him. It's like, oh yeah, all right, let's do it. That's America has always done that. Hey, there's some British and you guys have no weapons, you have no nothing, you have pitchforks and shit. Kill them, take their weapons, start killing them more. Okay, we'd have won that war in half the time if we didn't have stayed in New York. New York has always let us down. I mean, if New York had just held the fucking harbor, we wouldn't have had to fight that war. But New York is a bunch of pussies. So what are you gonna do? So last two questions and we'll roll. Dude, the gun stores can't keep anything in stock here. Down here in Florida, we stacked, bro, pallets of guns. And we had pallets of 7.62 by 39. That's why I run it. I know you guys are the AR guys. I have 5.56 NATO rounds. Good for you. They're sold out and they're expensive. The AK is twice the power, half the price, and they're pallets. I mean, I literally saw a pallet of AK. It was 25,000 rounds were on this pallet, and I was like, yeah, hell yeah. God bless Russia and God bless America. These elites, by the way, are going to peg Russia as the bad guy, and they're going to like cozy up with China. And I'm anti-China and pro-Russia. Just want to put that out there because I don't have any problem with the Chinese people. I don't like the Chinese government, and I got no problem with Russia. Oh, what about Putin? Putin keeps the place together, and he's done a real good job with the whole thing. And yeah, it needs to become more it needs to become more of a republic. But from where they were to where they are to what they are, and that they have no national debt and all the gold and like really great, amazing people, like I'm pro-Russia. Like I'm 100% pro-Russia. But most of the elite left is not pro-Russia. So that's something to think about. Because Russia would be a really easy, quote, world war. Be like, yeah, they're kind of small, whatever. You don't want them to mess with China. Like nobody wants to mess with China. And China just wants to do business. Let's be real. So you're going to see like these people like Clinton, Harris, they're going to be anti-Russia, and I'm pro-Russia. I just want to put that out. Like I'm pro-Russia. Like I'm running Russian hardware. Like I got a bunch of Russian hardware. Like I'm pro-Russia. I like Russian women. I like Russian vodka. I'm about Russia. So China, not so much. Canada, you guys can have them, but not so much. Last question here. Ammunition needs to be an overload building rounds. Yeah, so reload, basically. Reload, I guess, is where you're at. And I don't know. I hope it doesn't go kinetic. I hope that, there's going to be a financial collapse, and I think that's my message to you guys tonight. Is like there will be a financial collapse. You need to understand that. If you think the stock market, all-time highs, all businesses shut down, printing fake money, lots of debt adding, if you think that's going to last, and it might last for a year or 2 or 3, and it might be like, you might feel like you're missing out, but stack cash, stack gold, stack silver, stack crypto. Like, if you want to talk about different types of crypto, if you don't know, just Bitcoin. You can't go wrong at this point. It's got this gravitational port. I honestly hate how it's going right now with that, but nonetheless, it is what it is. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and like Bitcoin's going to be millions or zero. And so at $35,000, it's a freaking bargain, and you don't have to buy a whole coin. You can just buy $10 of it, $20 of it, whatever. It's divisible. But nonetheless, so get your crap ready. I'll be doing another one of these. Sorry it went on kind of long. Hope you guys got some value of it. And hit me up in the email. Put some description in this if you're rewatching it. And I would love to talk to you guys through the email, because I own the email and I can't really get shut down by the tech oligarchy. And you know, it is what it is. So until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace.